Good morning, hope you're doing well. It's great to see you again. During this week, Sam had a birthday, so I hope you had a good birthday, Sam. I hope you had a great day and maybe caught up with some family or something like that. Now, we've lately been looking through all the fruits of the Spirit, and we've got quite a way through the list. We've covered love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, and faithfulness. And last week we saw the story of Ruth and Naomi and how Ruth was faithful, and that also how God was faithful to her as well. Now, how are we going with our memory verse? Do we remember how it goes? It's Galatians 5:22 and 23. But this fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And against these things there is no law. Now, this week we're going to be learning about the fruit of gentleness, and we're going to see a video about how Jesus was gentle to this woman. Now, she was a married woman, but she'd broken some promises that she made when she got married, and we're going to see how Jesus treats her in that. So I hope you like the video.
Then everyone went home, but Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. Early the next morning, he went back to the temple. All the people gathered round him, and he sat down and began to teach them. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought in a woman who had been caught committing adultery, and they made her stand before them all.
Teacher! This woman was caught in the very act of committing adultery. In our law, Moses commanded that such a woman must be stoned to death. Now, what do you say?
They said this to trap Jesus, so that they could accuse him. But he bent over and wrote on the ground with his finger. As they stood there asking him questions, he straightened up.
Whichever one of you has committed no sin may throw the first stone at her.
Then he bent over again and wrote on the ground. When they heard this, they all left, one by one, the older ones first. Jesus was left alone with the woman still standing there. He straightened up.
Where are they? Is there no one left to condemn you?
No one, sir.
Well then, I do not condemn you either. Go. But do not sin again.
Well, I hope you like that video. It's a pretty interesting story. It's one of my favourite stories from the Bible. A reason I like it is because it shows Jesus' gentleness. And gentleness has been described as a strong hand, but with a soft touch. And I think that's really a good description of how Jesus is and how God is. Now, in the story, this woman had done the wrong thing, and she'd been caught out doing the wrong thing. And Jesus could have been the strong hand and said, yes, she needs to be punished, she's done the wrong thing, and condemned her, like the other people had in the story. But he's gentle with her, and he says to the other people, well, if you haven't sinned, then you be the one to throw the first stone at her. And Jesus is gentle with those people too. He says, I'll let you make up your own mind. I'm just going to tell you that if you're the one who hasn't sinned, then you can go first. And you can be the one to condemn her. And the people have a bit of a think about that, and they realise, well, I've sinned too. And we would be the same. We would say, yes, I've sinned as well. I can't condemn this woman. I can't act like I'm better than her. And so the people think, yeah, and they all end up walking away because they know that Jesus is right. And Jesus is gentle about this. He doesn't shake his fist at them or point his finger at them and say, you've sinned, you can't hold this against her. He lets them think about it. He's gentle, and he just says, well, if you haven't sinned, then you be the one to throw the first stone. And I think that's what gentleness is all about. It's just letting people know, well, this is how it is. You think about it, and you think about how that fits in with you. And I really like the way that Jesus does that in this story. And I think there's people in our lives who, when they're gentle with us, it's really great. They just let us know. Could be your parents, or when you're older, someone you work with, or maybe you've got a friend who might say to you, hey, that wasn't really nice how you did that. And usually the gentle people, they would do this just quietly. They wouldn't say this in front of everyone and say, oh, you did the wrong thing, you shouldn't have done that. They'll just quietly say, hey, I think you should have done that differently. What do you think? And then you have a think about it and you go, yeah, you're probably right. So anyway, I hope you like the video. I hope you remember a little bit about how gentle Jesus is, and how we can be gentle with people. If we want to talk to someone, we just say it gently to them, and not in front of heaps of people, make them feel embarrassed, but we can just quietly say to them, hey, how about we do something different? How about you don't talk about other people like that? Or do you think that's the right thing to do? And that's a gentle way of someone talking to you. Now here's Fiona with something really cool for us. Hope you like it.
We've been learning about gentleness this week, and about how Jesus was gentle with the lady who had sinned. We also need to remember to be gentle with others. Even those of us who might be quite strong, especially need to remember to be gentle with others so that we don't hurt them. Here I have a bamboo skewer and a balloon. Which of these do you reckon is stronger? I think the skewer might be stronger. What do you reckon would happen if I were to jab the balloon with the skewer? I think it might pop. But do you think that if I was really, really gentle, I might be able to put this skewer into the balloon without popping it? Let me see. Being super duper gentle here. slowly, carefully. Ta-da! I have managed to put the skewer into the balloon. And it didn't even pop. I was super gentle, and I used a bit of detergent to coat the skewer first. If you want to try this at home, you can use a balloon, bamboo skewer. I tried detergent and Vaseline. Detergent worked better. And then you pick the spot near where you blow the balloon up, where the rubber's a little bit thicker and a bit spongier. And then you just have to be super duper gentle. Have a great week, kids. Bye.
Okay, thanks Fiona, that was great. I am pretty keen on trying that out, and I'm sure my boys will be after me to do that with them as well. We are now going to have a bit of a prayer time. But before we do have a few people who are having birthdays coming up next week, so hopefully they have a great birthday when that comes up. I think you know who you are. And let's have a prayer about the week ahead. Dear Lord, thank you again for the time we've been able to spend together. Thank you that we've been learning about these fruits of the Spirit, and I pray that we can see these in our own lives and we can be really encouraged and think to ourselves, yeah, I can see myself being a bit more patient, or I can see myself being more kind or more gentle, and we can thank you that fruit is growing in our own lives. And I think it would be great if also we were to be able to notice that in other people's lives. So I pray that you may reveal that to us, Lord, that the other people, whether they're adults or maybe our brothers or sisters, that we might see the fruit and the Spirit in them as well. Thank you very much for our time together, and I pray we have a great week. Amen.